If you've been feeling anxious this week, watching your phone light up with alarming immigration headlines, seeing friends panic in group chats, or wondering if your visa, green card application, or travel plans are suddenly at risk, I want you to take a deep breath right now. You are not alone in feeling scared, confused, or overwhelmed. Immigration news moves fast, social media spreads rumors even faster, and it's hard to know what's real and what's just noise. That's exactly why we're here today. In this video, we're going to walk through the actual immigration changes that happened this week, separate verified facts from viral misinformation, and help you understand what truly affects you and what doesn't. You deserve clarity, not fear. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening, what's not happening, and what steps you should take to protect yourself and your family. Let's start by acknowledging something important. Every single week, there are dozens of immigration stories circulating online. Some are based on real policy updates. Others are based on proposed ideas that haven't been approved. And many are completely exaggerated or taken out of context. This week was no different. Several major headlines created confusion across immigrant communities, and I've received hundreds of messages from viewers asking if they should cancel their travel, if their green card is still valid, or if new visa restrictions are coming. So let's address the biggest topics one by one, calmly and clearly, using only verified information from official U.S. government sources. First, let's talk about green cards and permanent residency. There have been viral posts claiming that green card holders are facing new restrictions, that their status could be revoked without warning, or that traveling outside the U.S. has suddenly become dangerous. Here's the truth. Your green card, also known as lawful permanent resident status, is a legally protected status under U.S. immigration law. It does not expire overnight because of a headline or a political speech. It cannot be taken away without a formal legal process that includes your right to defend yourself. If you are a green card holder and you have not committed any serious crimes, violated immigration laws, or abandoned your residency, your status remains valid and protected. That has not changed this week, last week, or any time recently. However, it is true that green card holders must continue to meet their legal responsibilities. This includes maintaining your primary residence in the United States, not staying outside the country for extended periods without proper documentation, filing your taxes, and following all U.S. laws. If you plan to travel internationally, make sure your green card is not expired, carry supporting documents that show your ties to the U.S., and avoid trips longer than 6 months unless you have a re-entry permit. These are long-standing rules, not new changes. If you've been following these basic responsibilities all along, nothing about your status has changed this week, and you should not panic based on rumors or incomplete stories you see online. Now let's address visa holders, including those on H-1B, L-1, F-1, J-1, O-1, and other non-immigrant visa categories. This week, several misleading headlines suggested that certain visa programs are being shut down, that visa renewals are being denied in large numbers, or that visa holders should prepare for immediate removal. None of that is accurate. As of today, all major U.S. visa categories remain active and legally valid. If you are currently in the U.S. on a valid visa, and you are complying with the terms of that visa, your status has not been invalidated. USCIS, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, has not issued any emergency rule changes that affect the legal validity of existing approved visas. Any significant policy change affecting visa programs must go through a formal rulemaking process, which includes public notice, comment periods, and legal review. That said, it's important to understand that immigration policy discussions happen constantly in Washington. Proposals are introduced, debated, amended, delayed, or rejected all the time. Just because a proposal is discussed or even announced does not mean it has become law. If you hear about a potential change to visa rules, your first question should always be, Has this been officially implemented? Has it been published in the Federal Register? Has USCIS or the Department of State issued formal guidance? If the answer is no, then it is not yet enforceable, and you should not make major life decisions based on speculation. This is one of the most common mistakes immigrants make, and it leads to unnecessary fear and confusion. Let's also talk about travel, because this is where a lot of panic has been spreading this week. Some social media posts have claimed that certain nationalities are now banned from entering the U.S., that visa holders are being turned away at airports without explanation, or that traveling outside the U.S. is now too risky. Here's what you need to know. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has the legal authority to inspect anyone entering the country, whether they are U.S. citizens, green card holders, or visa holders. That authority has always existed and is not new. However, lawful permanent residents and valid visa holders still have the legal right to enter the U.S. as long as they meet admissibility requirements. If you are planning to travel internationally, make sure you carry all necessary documents, including your valid passport, visa or green card, approval notices, employment letters if applicable, and proof of your ties to the U.S. Arrive at the airport early, answer all questions truthfully and calmly, and do not carry any prohibited items or documents that could raise red flags. If you have any concerns about your specific situation, such as a criminal record, prior immigration violations, or pending cases, consult with a licensed immigration attorney before you travel. Do not rely on advice from friends, social media influencers, or unverified online forums. Your immigration status is too important to gamble with based on someone's personal opinion. Now let's address one of the most confusing topics this week, which involves proposed legislation and executive actions. Several bills and policy ideas have been discussed in Congress and in public statements by government officials. Some of these proposals involve changes to family-based immigration, employment-based green cards, asylum procedures, or visa processing times. But here's the critical point you must understand. A proposal is not a law. A discussion is not a policy. An announcement is not an implementation. Until something is signed into law, published officially, and given an effective date, it does not affect your current status or rights. For example, if you hear that a new bill has been introduced that would limit green card sponsorships or change visa lottery rules, that bill still needs to pass both the House of Representatives and the Senate, be signed by the President, and survive any legal challenges before it becomes enforceable. That process can take months or even years. In the meantime, the current law remains in effect. This is why it's so important to stay informed through reliable sources and not react emotionally to every headline. Immigration law is complex, slow-moving, and highly regulated. It does not change overnight based on a tweet, a press conference, or a viral video. Let's also talk about misinformation and how to identify it. This week, I saw several posts claiming that USCIS has stopped processing green card applications, that visa interview wait times have been eliminated for certain countries, or that deportation orders are being issued automatically to people who miss a single appointment. None of these claims are true. USCIS continues to process applications, although processing times vary by case type and service center. Visa interview wait times are determined by appointment availability at each U.S. embassy or consulate, not by blanket policy changes. And deportation, or removal, is a formal legal proceeding that requires notice, a hearing, and the opportunity to present your case before an immigration judge. It does not happen automatically or without due process. When you see an immigration-related post online, ask yourself these questions. Does this post cite an official government source? Does it link to a USCIS announcement, a Federal Register publication, or a State Department notice? Or does it just say, breaking news, without any evidence? Is the person sharing this information a licensed immigration attorney? Or are they just repeating something they heard? Is the tone of the post designed to make you panic, or is it trying to inform you calmly? If a post feels too dramatic, too urgent, or too vague, it's probably not reliable. Always verify information by checking official websites like USCIS.gov, travel.state.gov, or DHS.gov before you take any action. Let me also remind you of something incredibly important. If you are worried about your immigration status, if you've received a notice from USCIS that you don't understand, if you're facing a visa denial or a request for evidence, or if you're unsure whether you should travel or apply for a benefit, do not try to figure it out alone. Do not rely solely on YouTube videos, Facebook groups, or friends who say they went through something similar. Immigration law is highly individualized. What worked for someone else may not work for you. What applies to one visa category may not apply to another. The best thing you can do is consult with a licensed U.S. immigration attorney who can review your specific situation, give you personalized legal advice, and help you make informed decisions. Yes, legal help costs money, but the cost of making a mistake with your immigration status can be far greater. Now let's talk about what you should be doing right now, regardless of what headlines are circulating. If you are in the U.S. on a visa, make sure your status is current and that you are complying with all visa terms. If you are a green card holder, continue living in the U.S., maintain your ties here, file your taxes on time, and renew your green card if it's expiring soon. If you are waiting for a green card or visa approval, check your case status regularly on the USCIS website. Respond promptly to any requests for evidence, and keep copies of all documents you submit. If you are planning to travel, make sure your travel documents are valid, carry supporting evidence of your status, and know your rights at the border. Most importantly, do not let fear paralyze you. Immigration is stressful enough without adding unnecessary panic. There are millions of immigrants in the U.S. living, working, studying, and thriving legally every single day. The system has rules, processes, and protections. Yes, there are delays. Yes, there are uncertainties. Yes, political discussions can be frightening. But the law still exists, and your rights under that law still matter. Stay informed through reliable sources. Stay organized with your documents. Stay proactive with your applications and renewals. And stay calm, because fear and misinformation only make things harder. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that USA Immigration Today is here to help you navigate these challenges with accurate, timely, and trustworthy information. We break down complex immigration topics into simple language. We fact-check viral claims, and we give you the clarity you need to make confident decisions. If this video helped you understand what's really happening this week, and what's just noise, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Like this video to help it reach more people who may be confused or scared right now. Share it with your family, friends, and anyone in your community who needs reliable immigration information. And leave a comment below telling us what topics you'd like us to cover next or what questions you still have. We read every comment, and your input helps us create the content you need most. Thank you for trusting us with your time and your concerns. Stay informed, stay hopeful, and we'll see you in the next video.